Good evening. It is Lisa again. I'm back to tell you guys another one of my um, paranormal experiences. And this one is a mix between um, what may have possibly been a paranormal experience, which I believe there was something supernatural about it, or a possible anxiety attack. It happened if you've been watching my previous videos. I've been posting several different paranormal experiences from strange telephone calls to a possible ghost sighting, extraterrestrial, spiritual awakening. This one happened in that same time frame. All of the strange experiences happened within about a 2 year time frame. It was like a really um, stressful time of my life. I was working a lot, like a lot. The company that I was working for had us doing like a lot of mandatory overtime. I pretty much was working from like 6 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes it was just a lot. Like the money looked good, but it just was just really too much for me, especially, at that age. I don't really think that I was ready for all of that. But my friend at the time that this experience happened said that she felt like I probably had an anxiety attack because I was like overworked and really tired. Her mom and me at that time felt like it was something supernatural about it. And her mom told me a story about a similar experience that she had to mine. So I'm going to tell hers too in correlation, because I actually feel like her story has a lot more creepy elements to it. But basically, what happened was, once again, after a really long day at work, I got home that night. It probably was about 9 o'clock, and it was it was just it was just a really long day. And I want to say, I didn't want to cook anything that night. And I think I made myself like a sandwich. Yeah, I did. Because I remember sitting on the floor of my bedroom and eating a sandwich, having something quick to eat because I was going to go, straight to sleep. But I was watching television at that time. And once again, just to paint you a little bit of a visual picture, I had a small apartment. It was cute. My bathroom and my bedroom door were so I had a bedroom door and then I had a bathroom door that I could access my bedroom through. So I could access the bathroom through the bedroom door, and then on the other side of the bathroom there was a door where I could get to the living area, my living room. And then I had a bedroom door too as well. But anyway, I was sitting on the floor and I was watching TV. I don't remember what I was watching. I don't think it was um, anything. I think it was just like whatever sitcom was on, that night or whatever. And my closet door was a mirror. So there was my bed, and then across from my bed was my closet, and there was so basically there was a mirror facing my bed. And I've heard, different stories and different people say, especially those that believe in the occult and the paranormal and supernatural, that you should never sleep with your bed facing a mirror. You should also never sleep with an empty chair in your bedroom and things like that, or a chair facing your bed. Um, but sometimes I think about that and I wonder maybe if this had something to do with the experience. But I remember sitting there once again, and this sense of heaviness and dread just like coming down on me. Like I couldn't, like, there was weight on me and I couldn't handle like pressure, and it felt like an anxiety attack. And I was just like sitting there, and overwhelming sense of like sadness just like consumed me. And I thought, like, what is going on? And I started, like, breathing really heavy. And I was, trying to, shake it off. Like, I was like flipping the television station, try to find something funny to watch, but I just kept feeling worse. And when I looked at the door to my bathroom, it was closed and my bathroom was dark. The light wasn't on. And I could see, it was like this shadow. And then all of a sudden, I could see like lights underneath the door, like as if someone was walking back and forth, like literally pacing back and forth, but it was a light. And I started like getting really paranoid. My first thought was that there could have been somebody in my apartment, but I was for sure that the balcony door was locked. I was on the first floor. I was for sure, or my patio door was locked is what I meant to say. And I was for sure that my front door was locked, and I was like, what is that, or who is that? But it was like I was floored. Like I couldn't, your first instinct, you want to jump up and run. I really wanted to get air because I felt that heaviness, but it was like I was planted. I could not move. And my first thought, I don't know why, but I called my friend. I called like my best friend. She lived right down the street from me. And at this time, her and my cousin were dating, and he was at her house. And I called her, and I was like breathing really hard, and I was in a panic and rushing, and I kept telling her, somebody is in my house, somebody is in my apartment, please come. And she's like, okay, just, hide, or, whatever. She told me, she was like, just sit there. Are you sure you're okay? And I was like, yeah, but I think somebody's in here. But I was just really rushed. I did not run out. It was like I couldn't move. I was so scared. And so, I want to say it didn't take her that long because she lived right down the street from me, but maybe about 5, 8 minutes, she was in her car. She was, she, could get into my apartment. I lived in like a gated community, and she had the gate code, and she was able to get in. And, she got to my apartment. I heard her and my cousin, knocking on my door. She was like knocking really hard, almost banging, and somehow I was able to get up. And, I rushed really quickly to the front door, and I'm like, somebody's in here. I'm so scared. Somebody's in here. And she said that, when she looked at me, that my skin, that, for somebody who's dark skinned, I looked flushed or kind of, pale or whatever. And she's like, okay, just stay right here or whatever. And my cousin, he's walking around my apartment. He's like, trying to, it's a small apartment. He's looking everywhere. He's looking on the balcony. I was for sure somebody had been in there, or there was somebody in my apartment. But at the same time, the energy did not feel right. It didn't feel right. It really truly felt like something supernatural. And, I didn't want to tell her that, but, she was kind of looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm not drunk. I'm not, under the influence of anything. And he walks around, he goes through my bedroom, he looks in the bathroom. I had like a small little area where um, my washer and dryer was. He looked in that room, the laundry room, and everything. And he was like, Lisa, there's nobody in here. I don't see nothing. Are you okay? And I was too afraid to stay by myself that night. And because I really honestly didn't know what I saw. And she took me home. I went back home to just stay with her for the night. I ended up like calling into work the next day, because, I sat and talked with her and her mom, and she was like, I think you're just under a lot of stress. You're working a lot, you pretty much you're spending all your time at work. And so I ended up calling in and I stayed the night at her house, but her mom told me a similar story, something that happened to her when she was younger, but her story involved her being, under the influence. I guess she had been, drinking the night that her experience happened. And me and her mom, I do believe that it was something supernatural. She says she thinks something was trying to attach itself to me, because I was so stressed out. Maybe my system was weak, or my body was weak just from the exhaustion. And she said that, the night that she had her experience, that she had been drinking the type of drinking where she was angry. She was feeling kind of sad, and had been drinking and was really angry about something that she had found out about her family, or something somebody had been doing to her and her family behind her back. And, I just want to, tell people, if you are in that type of a situation, if you are ever depressed or under the influence of something, any sort of abuse or addictions, please make sure you go and get the proper professional help that you need, and don't ever be afraid to ask for help. I personally don't know what it's like, to be, um, to have an addiction issues. I am a peer support specialist, but I'm a peer support specialist for domestic violence, because that's the situation that I've been through. But in this case, I just wanted to share that bit of information with you guys. Don't ever, drink, drive, or um, be under the influence, especially when you're feeling sad or in not a good mind state. And because, her mom said that, they call it spirit. I think they call alcohol in some places, or, you see signs of spirits or whatever. And I've seen different little um, pieces of knowledge that say, that they call it spirits for a reason, because, it is used to conjure, certain things. And I know that there's alcohol used in certain spiritual works, and different forms of healing. There are practitioners that use alcohol during, providing services and things. And she said that she had been drinking, and the similarity in our stories, was the flashing lights. She said that the first thing she saw in her bedroom was flash like lights under her door, or she kept seeing flashes of light out of, the corner of her, her eye, and different things like that. And then her story took a really dark turn. I guess she had been playing like music, and she said that the music on the radio, and it could just be that she was really drunk, she was really out of it, but she said the music on her radio started playing backwards. And I was like, oh, no. And she said the first thing she did was she jumped up and she ran outside to get air. And she started, like it felt like an anxiety attack. And she was like, what is going on? But she went outside to get air, and, she took a walk to burn off, the alcohol and I guess the anger and the steam. But I thought that was really weird, because I felt weight, and I felt like something was holding me down. I do feel like it was something, unfortunately, very supernatural, something dark. I think maybe that really truly because of me being so tired and kind of drained, there's a possibility that my system was just, maybe my aura was at a, kind of giving off a type of vibe where something kind of, low